don't second guess yourself. It's so easy to want to, after a few days of tracking and maybe not seeing changes on the scale, or maybe you're seeing changes on the scale, you want to adjust things. You want to, increase or decrease calories. You want to whatever with your macros. Don't do that. Just focus on tracking what you're eating currently, tracking your steps, and after 2 to 3 weeks, then then you can make a decision of, okay, this is I found around my maintenance, and now I can go into fat loss phase. Is that my goal? If that's my goal, or I can just continue with what I'm doing. And so we can talk a little bit more about that. But this brings me into the next question with Karen. She asked, when you talk about maintenance calories, I set up this week on what I thought would be the lower end of my maintenance, but by eating whole foods and moving more, I'm actually losing weight. Since I do want to lose weight anyway, but I'm still at the beginning phase of this, would you recommend increasing calories a little next week to find maintenance, or keeping them the same and seeing if it stabilizes? So to answer this question, I would say I would keep things the same, because again, a week of data, that's, you can interpret some things from a week of data if you wanted to, but it's not going to be super accurate, especially if we're looking at scale weight and things like that. Yes, you can take the average, but in general, especially for females, there could be some things going on with hormones maybe that week that might be throwing some things off. So really we want to see, or just maybe water weight, or maybe you're sleeping, your sleep is a little bit off. There's so many different factors, right, that play into it. So I would say just keep doing what you're doing for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then make the assessment. Okay, the scale has continued to trend down over that maybe the average at the 2 week mark is down, and then the average at the 3 week mark is down. So then you likely know that, okay, you're not at maintenance, you're in a deficit, right? And the biggest thing with that is to also realize, I keep saying the biggest thing. There's a lot of big things here. One of the biggest things with that is to realize that, at least for me, when I'm going into a fat loss phase, I want to be eating the most amount of food that I can eat to see the results that I want to see, right? So if you're already in a deficit, right? If you've been tracking, you're already in deficit, that's fine. But I would just, make sure that that's sustainable for you in your plan, right? So if you're 2 weeks into, doing this, and you're already feeling some diet fatigue, for example, and you haven't even kind of started your fat loss phase, then we need to realize that, okay, maybe I need to eat a little bit more and still be able to see those results. And there's no kind of set way to do this. It's really just kind of gauging, all the things that I talk about in the tracker, and all the things that I talk about with periodizing your nutrition. We talked about this last week.